So he gets taken away, and he learns, which I can only presume is some form of astral projection, or some kind of astral body, or being able to sort of, if you like, temper his will in a certain way where he can connect with entities outside of himself. So he's doing this. Then the magician takes him into the wilderness. Now the wilderness is just about in every story of religious enlightenment. We come across it in the Bible, we come across it with the Buddha. It's about finding themselves within this realm of consciousness, which is not part of the normal life. Now he takes him to the wilderness, and then he leads him to two mountains. Now the two mountains appear in many, many religions. In Masonism, it's Jacko and Boaz. But there are very many references to the mountains. He then lights herbs and minerals in a fire, and an alabaster slab opens. Now, what is that? The opening of the third eye? Is it, I don't know, or is it physically it opens? Something opens. Now, Aladdin has to be sent in because they need somebody who is pure of heart. We can understand that the magician is not pure of heart, but what does that actually mean, pure of heart? Well, he could have actually traded his soul. Not necessarily his soul per se, but what the Indians would call the Atman. Now, because he's also dark, this could represent Saturn. So we could be talking about his religious belief and convictions will not allow him to go to, if you wish, the divine feminine, which is the moon. But he is teaching his assistant, Aladdin, this skill. Now, depending what version of the story you read, Aladdin is either given a ring or he finds a ring. Now, the magician is very, very clear. He says, you climb down into the hole, you don't pick things up, you keep completely focused, and you get me the lamp. Okay? So Aladdin the magician allows Aladdin to go into the depth of the cave. Interestingly, the word kaf means cave. Plato talks about the cave in the Republic. The cave represents the head, if you wish. Also, Plato talks about how we see images and we presume they are real, but beyond those images is the reality. And this is very reflected in the story of Aladdin. So he's down in the cave, he sees palaces, he sees everything. In one story, he sees the ring, picks it up and puts it on his finger. In another story, he has the ring and he goes and finds the lamp. Now, the lamp is old and it's burning purely. Yeah? What is the lamp? Is the lamp the soul of the magician? Is the lamp, if you like, the universal force? Well, sort of like it's not clear. The jury's out. There are many things the lamp can be, but Aladdin brings it back, and the magician says, "Give me the lamp, and I'll let you out, and everything's great." Well, Aladdin's a street kid, and he's not stupid. Hold on. Of all the jewels and diamonds down there, you want this old lamp, which seems to be far more important than anything else. Well, I'm not going to give it to you. I'll climb up and then we'll negotiate, what this lamp is going to be worth. Well, they're furious and they're arguing. And then we've got this other, if you like, weird Freudian thing where the magician slams the door on Aladdin and traps him within the realm of the cave. He's black, he's frightened, and by accident he rubs the ring, and the genie slave of the ring comes out and asks what his command is. The command is he goes home, he takes the lamp with him, he meets the princess. Interestingly, they kill the magician, they also kill the magician's brother. You know, they're quite despicable, Aladdin and his wife, really. And it's all done with the blessing of the Sultan. You know, the Sultan doesn't arrest him because he's a bad dude. The Sultan's like, oh great, you've got your power back, etc., etc. So what can we learn from this? Well, there is two ways of looking at it. That to contact the jinn, one needs a magician. The reason why one needs a magician is because he already has a jinn that can protect you when you go into the realm of the calf. After all, he gave Aladdin the ring, or he put Aladdin in a position where he could take the ring. It doesn't really matter. So that's the most important part of the story to me, is that Aladdin is trained magically, but because he is dealing with the ring, he is protected. So he's not facing the jinn by himself. However, the other thing that's interesting for me, is that the soul of the magician has been corrupted. He can't do this anymore. I don't know why he can't do this anymore. He may have sold it. He may have been too sacrilegious throughout his career, but he understands that he wants the lamp. Now, the interesting thing is if he is corrupted and the lamp represents all that is powerful, can the magician actually use it? Or is the lamp his soul, so to speak? Now, because part of the story is he takes Badour back to Morocco. Badour allows Aladdin in, and they kill him, and they come back to China. Now, is this the magician dying with his soul, which is what he wanted? If he's given his soul up, or his soul has been captured, and he dies with it, then one can presume that he still has his soul. It's very, very complicated. If one talks to Sufis, they talk about how the jinn can capture the soul. So this may well be related, that the jinn is capturing the soul and that he wanted to die with his soul. But then if you like, the underground, or Aladdin going into the underground, is not going into his head. Obviously, the New Age gurus are saying that the lamp just represents the inspiration of the universe, and you have to go in and use your subconscious, and then you can manifest anything, which, in my opinion, is absolute garbage. Manifesting, if anybody's interested in manifesting, you should really be reading books by Hanal. He wrote the Master Key System, and that tells you the process of manifesting, not the Rhonda Burns, I don't know anything about physics, but I can move the world to my imagination. It's like, yeah, whatever. It just doesn't ring true. So there is that side of it as well. But in a nutshell, to recap, using the Aladdin system, one has to meet a magician, one has to be trained by him, then one has to risk one's life going into a deeper state of consciousness to find that connection with the lamp and the jinn, so to speak. it's, and then when one comes out, one has the power of the jinn and has the power of the light in the lamp. Now, I know practicing Sufis who work with the jinn, and they work with the jinn master, and after a certain amount of time, the jinn master will give them a fetish with a jinn to it, which then allows them to do the next part of the work. They also have a jinn lamp. I've stuck pictures of it before, where essentially the jinn will go inside the bottle. Some people believe the picture to be fake, but realistically, it's not. I've had it examined, I've examined it myself. You can see the bright orb floating in there. So, I hope you got something from this, that essentially this ancient method of becoming a jinn master involves working with a jinn master, having absolutely divine faith in yourself. Because if you read the book, which I recommend you read the book, is Aladdin is just not a nice guy. He's really horrible. But he has ultimate faith in himself. Crowley's love under will, if you wish. So, and then after that, he's then taught all the meditation techniques. Then he's taught the alchemy, where they're throwing things on the fire. Then finally he goes into the cave, and after coming out of the cave, he comes back with the lamp and the jinn. Well, I hope that has been useful for you. Namaste and goodbye.
Jin Illuminated is a new book by Brian Barot. It's the result of a lifetime study in occultism. Barot has worked with adepts in India, Africa, and the Yemen. This book allows the reader access to the jinn. Everything within its pages is authentic. This book has been reviewed by occultists such as J.S. Garrett, who believes it's one of the best books ever written on the subject of jinn. It's also been reviewed by Sufi masters, namely German Quedo Myers, who believes this is a really good book. Moreover, Christine Hart, Sunday Times best-selling author, she writes, "This book is wonderful, a glorious read. It's not for nothing. Brian Barot has been called the Jinn Master. If you want fame, if you want a better relationship, if you want spiritual awakening, Jin Illuminated is available on Kindle."